Okay, so I'm back with telling you a story about little Stella and just how, as a little girl, how we're wounded, little boys, little girls. The world starts giving us our identity and starts telling us who we are. So if our parents have not told us who we are, and they have not really imprinted upon us how amazing we are, that we're unique, that we're special. And I don't mean, just saying stupid stuff, but if you look at your child, you can see, their little things about them, like my little grandson, Ezariah, he loves music and, oh my gosh, he's a strong-willed little boy, but, it's fun, to even see his identity, and I'm sure he's going to be a little worshiper and dancer. And oh my gosh, that kid he has rhythm. Put music on, and he just, and little Stella, just this precious, 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 precious little thing. Just want to put her under a little glass and just keep that preciousness guarded and protected. But I'll tell you how I was able to help her, because we can't put us under a glass. I think that's how those crazy Disney stories get created, so we can't, but I can teach her. So what happened? She's sitting here and we've got worship music on, and she came over to do watercolor painting with me, and we're learning how to do watercolors. And so we play together, and it's all an experiment. We sit in here and we have this music going, and the fire and the dogs, and she sits on her little seat over there, and I think I was standing by the fire and getting warm and just listening to the music. I think I was singing along and just loving the Lord for a moment. And I look at her and she says, Mimi, she said, I got hurt at the bridge. Oh, maybe I shouldn't say that. Oops. Whoops. Okay, well, doesn't matter. It's not. Anyways, she was at, I already said it. Oh well, I don't think that's a big deal. But she was telling me how she got hurt. She was with her uncle, and she goes to an after-school program, and they talk about God. It's a great program for kids. I guess I'll give a shout out to what they do at the bridge is they go and they pick up kids let me give a shout out. They go and pick up kids from the schools, and they for free bring them to the church, and they have an after school program, and they have a summer program, and they don't charge anything, and they just want to love on these kids because they come from a lot of brokenness. And so I know they just want to put as many love seeds in them as possible, and just encourage them in their life, and bring, just that they would have stuff inside of them for the future. So little Stella, she's telling me how, something happened, and she said, they laughed at me, or not, they didn't laugh at her, but they said, oh, get over it, stop being such a baby. And then the co-worker, I guess, said, the same thing, like, yeah, you're being a baby. And then a little 6-year-old, who was standing there at the same time, piped in, and, and added to it as well. And I said, oh, how did that make you feel? And she goes, it really hurt. And she was crying. And I said, oh, honey, I think, what, we want to quickly find out what happened to, see if you were being a baby. I mean, very well, she could have been being a baby. But the shame that is put on her, and then the embarrassment and the pushing down, that whatever she was a baby about, actually, she felt something inside, and it bothered her, and maybe she didn't know how to express it correctly. or positively. And that's where they need help. They need guidance. But what I was able to help with her, because I thought, what happens to a young girl is, oh, get over it. Move along. And so that piles up. I was actually able to help her by saying, hey, so that hurt? You need to get with your uncle and you need to talk to him. And if you need help, just to tell him how that hurt, because he doesn't want to hurt you. He probably didn't even realize what he was doing or that it happened. And who knows how it actually happened. But in her perspective, that's how she sees it, saw it. And so, a lot of times we can do something even as parents. And I want to encourage you, even as parents, if your child is saying something, don't take it personally. Actually try to validate what they're feeling, because that's what we lack in this world, is not that our feelings, they're not based in truth. We have to understand that our feelings are just our feelings. They're neither right or wrong. They are just our feelings, and we have to grow and we have to mature. And she's 5. She's very immature. So I was able, though, to help her to talk to her uncle. She actually did talk to her uncle. And I found that out a couple days later. She didn't need to wait for me. And she was afraid, I'll tell you. She even sat there and said, as she cried, when I said, talk to your uncle, she cried and said, I'm afraid that, she was afraid of being rejected, afraid that he would poo-poo her feelings, that he would not validate her feelings. That's it. That he would shut her down. And he didn't. He totally validated her feelings. He totally acknowledged it and said, I'm sorry, I won't do that again. And oh, that's good. He learned a valuable lesson. And she learned to communicate at this age, at 5. So when she has something else that happens, and say she doesn't have the courage to say, because my gosh, at 40 people are scared to talk, at 20 people are scared to talk, at 15 people are scared to talk. Aren't we all scared to talk? Because nobody's ever taught us how to talk. And yes, it's scary. It's scary to communicate. My daughter Micah, she came to me. She was like my one and only child that ever came and told me when she actually broke something. You know how you always tell your kids, hey, don't do that because you might break something. Don't break something, I'd come and I'd find something that was glued back together, probably years later. And it's glued. Somebody glued it. And he put it back instead of telling me, oh my gosh, Mom, we were playing in the house and guess what? We broke it. I would have been so proud of any child. Who cares about this stuff? It's just stuff. Some of it probably would have hurt. I had something very old that was broken, a little tiny praying statue, and all of a sudden it's glued back together. That did bother me. It just hurt because it belonged to my grandma and it was carved, and it's just a beautiful little piece, which I don't even know where that is now that I think about it. I'll have to find it. Gosh, hopefully I'm not missing it, but whatever, it is what it is. It's just stuff, right? So my Micah, she came to me one day and she was probably 8, 9, maybe 10. I don't know that she was that old. I don't know. But she came to me and she was like, she was freaked out. Well, because the feeling inside, that nervous feeling, just like any of us, to tell the truth can be hard. It's scary. Even as an adult, it's scary. Oh my gosh. But we got to start doing it at some point. I know it's hard. So she came to me though and just, Mom, I broke your, I don't even remember what it was. And I just looked at her, I said, oh, honey, thank you for telling me. You are the first person that's ever told me when you broke something. Thank you for not hiding it. Thank you. I could see how hard it was for her. And I was like, wow, look at how you had the courage to come and tell me. Wow. And I just gave her the biggest hug. And we talked about, I didn't really have to talk to her about, she knew. I didn't have to even tell her. But I gotta tell her, I gotta flip it, you know? You see what I'm saying? So that's how I gotta help little Stella. You know, we're helping these young ones to live the hard life, to tell the truth, to be people of integrity, you know, to walk by. It's funny, you know, I look at integrity, you know, you walk by a piece of paper or garbage on the ground. I don't know how it got there, but it's on the ground. I walk by it and I stop and pick it up because it doesn't belong there. But how many people will walk by a piece of garbage on the ground and not stop and pick it up? I think those are the little details that God sees. If you see somebody who needs help, do you turn and go help them? Unpack their, you know, groceries out of a cart. If there's an older lady with a bunch of heavy water, you know, could we just stop and, hey, can I give you a hand? I mean, it's heavy. And as we get older, you know, getting that stuff out and up, we don't want people to get hurt, you know, like, you know, just take time to see people around us. Be aware. It's not all about us, man. Our vision is so narrow. So I know I've gone in so many different directions. I don't even know where we started out today, so I probably will just end and I'll come back with more. Anyhow, have a wonderful day. Look at that. I'm only 11 minutes and 40 seconds, Lily. That's pretty darn good. Subscribe to my channel. Push that red button. Like I said, it's to multiply so more people can get more help. I have a well of living water inside of me that I have lived through. Things that I think about, things that I lived through. And I want to just be able to share and give you tools and help. So I hope you all find this helpful. So like I said, if you do, push the red button and then you'll get notifications. And let me give a shout out to YouTube. I love YouTube. And the reason why, I love to watch podcasts. I have for years. And then they started doing commercials. Ugh, hate commercials. I'd be listening to some amazing message where my heart was totally engaged and it was speaking to my soul, because we have to speak to our soul. We have to speak life, and we need more and more and more. So I listen to worship music. I listen to, you know, positive stuff, positive messages, godly messages. I love messages from the Word of God because there is something powerful about the Word of God. It is truth. It's alive. It's sharper than any two-edged sword. It'll actually get the lies out and put truth in. And you will find yourself being transformed by all the stuff that you do. This stuff will change you. It changes you. It's truth. It changes the inside of you. Literally does. It does. It does. It does. I can't tell you that enough. And then you listen to some of this worship music. Not this. I mean some awesome declaring, decreeing for whatever journey you're in life. Man, I'm in a journey. I've been in a journey on a battlefield, in a warfare for my family, for my own self. And so I need words that are songs that are just giving me courage, giving me strength. And I start singing them. My kids used to come in. I'd play, oh, Lily, I'm going longer. I'd play worship music in my car because I thought, you know what? I just needed more and more. And not only that, I needed my kids to be, I didn't need to hear them. And so I'd turn it up loud because there's 6 in the car. So I'd put that music on loud. I'd come in the house and I'd be cooking, doing whatever in the kitchen, unloading groceries. And the kids would come walking by and they're singing the same songs. It was getting inside of them. They would hear it and it would get inside of them. So those are all ways of getting seeds inside of us, inside of those, my kids. I didn't realize until now, but anyhow, I will be adding some music onto my playlist. So why I'm talking about YouTube though is it's the one thing I always encourage people to do is subscribe to, and I'm not working for YouTube, but maybe they'll have me sponsor them now. No. I mean, that's funny. But do subscribe to YouTube. because then you get everything for free. It doesn't disrupt anything. And so you can be listening to this music and your heart is being filled up, and you don't get some crazy, I'll tell you, the commercials that come on were just so terrible and awful, and they would just stop the flow of everything. So that's why I subscribe to YouTube. I think it's like $11 or $12 a month. The best $11, $12 a month I've ever put my money to. So, and that's what, 2 Starbucks, so it's nothing. Anyhow, have a wonderful day. Bye.